Hi, this is Mary Holland. I work for the Global Payroll Management Institute. I'm the Global Director of Strategy, Development, and Training, and you're listening to the Payroll Podcast.
Hi, this is Samuel Isaac. I head Global Marketing and Strategy at Neeyamo. You're listening to Payroll Podcast.
Mark your calendar for April 29th through the 3rd of May. We want to continue to raise the profile of global payroll professionals.
Welcome to the Payroll Podcast with your host, Nick Day of JGA Recruitment, Specialist Payroll Recruiters.
Hello and welcome to the Payroll Podcast. My name is Nick Day from James Gray Associates. Obviously, we specialise in payroll and human resources recruitment, so I'm going to make a quick note here that if you do have any current vacancies, please do get in touch. My email is nick@jgarecruitment.com. But more importantly, today I have a really excited podcast to bring to you. It's a special edition, all centred around Global Payroll Week. If you're not familiar, we're going to find out a lot more about that during the course of this podcast. So for this podcast today, I am joined by Mary Holland, CPP from the Global Payroll Management Institute, or the GPMI for short. Those of you who listen to this podcast regularly may already be familiar with Mary, who we featured in a previous edition about global payroll. Mary is Global Director of Strategy Development and Training for the GPMI, and she's extremely well known in the world of both US and global payroll. And for those of you that know her, you will already know that she is a champion for global education and professional development and engagement for all things associated with the payroll industry. For those not familiar with the GPMI, it's the world's leading community for global payroll leaders, managers and practitioners, researchers and technology experts. And Mary and the GPMI team provide outstanding content and resources. You can find out a lot more about the GPMI and subscribe all for free at www.gpminstitute.com. I will put a link in the episode notes as well, so you can access that really easily going forward. And I really do recommend looking at the previous episodes we've recorded with Mary, which gives you loads of insight about the GPMI as well. Joining Mary today, it's almost a first. The last time we had two people on the podcast in one go was the last podcast I recorded with Mary. And she's joined again, this time by Samuel Isaac, who's Head of Global Marketing and Strategy at Neeyamo. Sam has deep expertise in advising clients on major strategic business initiatives, as well as organizational design, operating model transformation, leadership development, and more. He is primarily responsible for devising growth strategies for the organization and evangelizing Neeyamo's value proposition. Now, Neeyamo has more than 1,500 professionals specializing in delivering global payroll and HR services across over 150 countries. So Neeyamo, one of the world's most foremost providers of HRO services for multinationals, with operations spread across a long tail of countries. Its service lines cover entire pre-hire to post-retire employee life cycle. So loads and loads to get your teeth into there, and a genuine, amazing expert to have on the Payroll Podcast. If you want to find out more about Neeyamo, of course, I'll put their website in the episode notes as well. But for quick resource, it's neeyamo.com. So super excited to have both Mary and Sam join me today. One from California and the other from Chennai, India. So for this special Global Payroll Week edition of the Payroll Podcast, I'm going to welcome them both. How are you both doing, Mary and Sam?
I'm doing excellent, Nick. It's nice to have some spring weather here in California and some beautiful sunshine.
Great. Well, we haven't quite been blessed with the weather here in the UK at the moment. I'm sat in Devon and we've got about 30 mile per hour winds and a little bit drizzly, but I've been assured that the weather is coming. How's the weather looking for you, Sam?
Yeah, great. It's turning out to be purely global. So we have Mary at one end of the spectrum with one set of climate. Nick, you are there at the center, and I'm at the other end of the spectrum today. Pretty warm and humid out here in Chennai. Thank you, Nick, for hosting me, and thank you, Mary, for your continued support. It does feel good to be part of this podcast and talk about something we at Neeyamo have come to be so passionate about, Global Payroll Week.
We're familiar here with National Payroll Week, which we have in the UK. Global Payroll Week is something I'm not as familiar with until, obviously, you brought me up to speed, Mary, separately to this podcast. But for those listening to it, perhaps aren't as familiar, can you tell us a little bit more about what Global Payroll Week is?
Sure, Nick. GPMI launched Global Payroll Week in 2018, And it was centered around to enlighten employees and employers about the growing global payroll industry and the important role global payroll professionals are playing in their organizations. As we know, more and more organizations are operating globally and evaluating their global payroll footprint and making deliberately strategic plans to transform their global payroll operations.
Sure.
Global Payroll Week provides us an opportunity to highlight the expanding global profession. And since most countries are operating in many countries, as you well know, Nick, it aligns with GPMI's strategic goal to bring a community of payroll leaders and practitioners together to celebrate the global payroll profession and raise the skill level of payroll professionals around the world with training and education.
Fantastic. Well, I'm all for celebrating the payroll industry. If we can do it on a global scale, then all the better. It also sounds like another great way to put payroll back on the map, which is something we're all trying to do as we try and raise the global image and the global payroll profile, if you like. But what was it that led GPMI to create a worldwide celebration of payroll? What was the catalyst for launching Global Payroll Week?
Well, let me take a dig at it. Yeah. So it was frankly a result of a corner room discussion me and my team had with Mary around 3 years back. Now, as you rightly mentioned at the start of our conversation, National Payroll Week is celebrated by payroll professionals in select countries. And we thought there was a little bit of a void when it came to celebrating global event for global payroll professionals, something on the lines of National Payroll Week, which is, over a period of time, become pretty dominant event in the payroll industry in select countries, including US and the UK. Now, global payroll itself, has seen some dynamic transformation fueled by globalization and radical developments in the global HR tech industry. And last few years have been, phenomenal at that. Now, we've been, as an organization, Neeyamo has been at the forefront of leading this transformation, and we've been very fortunate in collaborating with GPMI. And as a result of that corner room discussion today, we've seen this Global Payroll Week happen. So, basically, we would like this to evolve over a period of time and become a catalyst for accelerating the pace of transformation of the global payroll industry.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to ask some questions a little bit later on about how people can get involved in that. You mentioned some of Neeyamo's transformation, how you've been quite central to transforming global processes. Can you tell me a little bit more about Neeyamo's involvement then, specifically with Global Payroll Week?
I mean, we've been doing a lot of things, both internal to the organization as well as external. But by and large, I think it's, this leadership that GPMI has provided, and we've been very fortunate to collaborate with GPMI at an institutional level and Mary at an individual level. So what we've been doing, of course, there are a lot of things that we have planned across all our channels, both within and outside Neeyamo. The 5 days has been seeing increasing amount of momentum since the first celebration, which incidentally was a year ahead of when GPMI actually started celebrating Global Payroll Week. The first edition, we kind of called it International Payroll Week. We had, but over a period of time, we've kind of bettered it on a year-on-year basis. This year, we are planning to host a series of webinars, podcasts, blogs, and we have pretty much plans to cover it all. But the best place to kind of understand what's there in store would be our social media channels, the Twitter handle at Neeyamo.
Fantastic. So I'll make sure I put a link to that in the episode notes as well. Obviously, we're going to be able to find a lot more about it at the gpmiinstitute.com website as well. So, Mary, if I ask you a question, what does the GPMI hope to accomplish then with Global Payroll Week?
Well, we hope to make people aware of the global payroll profession, also all of the work the organization does, how the challenges that global payroll professionals are facing in their jobs every day to ensure that people are paid accurately and timely with a multitude of different payroll rules around the world, and really just raising the profession and making it aware, because it is a growing profession. more and more companies, as I mentioned, are moving to a global footprint. They may have had it before, but we're going through a transformation. It's one of the most hottest items right now. And if you go out in the industry, global payroll seems to be the hot topic that people are talking about. Really, what education does our teams need, and how we can just make people aware of what's happening today, but also a combination of celebrating all of the work that the payroll professionals, the people in technology, the researchers, all of their work is contributions that are made to a very growing industry.
Excellent. Fantastic. So as you celebrate the global professionals within the payroll industry that are working tirelessly every day to deliver accurate global payrolls, are you able to give us a little sneak peek of what some of the things perhaps you've got planned during Global Payroll Week, and perhaps some of the ways our listeners can really get involved? Perhaps if I start with you, Sam.
Sure. Like I said, I think the best way to get involved would be by following our social media channels. At Neeyamo is our Twitter handle. What we've kind of segregated the way we celebrate this week into two distinctive parts. One is what we do internally within our organization, and second is within the larger external community. Global payroll at Neeyamo is a strategic line of business, and we have our employees spread across our different global delivery centers, proximity centers across the world. So we want to ensure that the celebrations reflect multicultural nature of delivery. So on the fun side, we have teams kind of getting together for potluck, multi-cuisine themed potluck. And continent-wise bay decoration, and a lot of those stuffs that really make the entire week look very festive inside the organization. But on the intellectual side, we are hosting a serious global payroll quiz for our employees. There are everything is still a work in progress, so we'll possibly have more clarity in the coming days. But one thing is for certain, the entire organization will sport a very festive look. Now, on the external side, we are very happy to participate in GPMI Twitter chat, Global Payroll Week Twitter chat that GPMI is hosting on May 2nd. So once again, stay tuned to our Twitter handle, and of course, follow social media channels of GPMI as well. I'm sure there will be more announcements to follow around that. While we were instrumental in collaborating with GPMI in launching the first chapter outside of US here in India, there was quite some buzz around this entire exercise. We launched it just about a couple of weeks back. Now we will be engaging with this GPMI chapter as well to celebrate this event. Again, that will be a first of its kind. This kind of celebrations to take place outside of US. We intend to have one webinar and at least one hosted local community event that the professionals can get together and talk about things that that really matters to them.
Opportunity of bringing sort of experts together into one forum to discuss global payroll.
That's right, yes.
And for yourself, Mary, any sneak peek sort of items that you'll be delivering through the GPMI, or little things that some of the global payrollers listening to this can get excited about?
Well, first of all, I really want to thank Neeyamo to be participating in our Twitter chat. We have a lot of fun with that Twitter chat. This will be the third year that they will be on a Twitter chat for Global Payroll Week, so we really appreciate all their support. And then I also want to thank Neeyamo for being a sponsor for Global Payroll Week, along with Amitis and Workday. So we have a planned week of global payroll education and awareness. So we have two sponsored thought leader webinars provided by Workday and Blue Marble to highlight all of the work education that we have there. And then we have also pulled in 3 subject matter experts to present webinars on global payroll subjects that are pertinent to the community. And just to highlight, we're having webinars on navigating cross-cultural differences in global payroll, complexities of maintaining global payroll, and then the exclusive overview of the global payroll service marketplace, so we know exactly what's happening and how the vendors are out, what vendors are out there, what's going on in the industry. So we have Nelson Hall presenting that global service marketplace for us. And then, of course, as Sam mentioned and highlighted, the social media channels, we are going to use social media. So don't forget to use a hashtag Global Pay Week and start posting and encouraging others to join us there. And we are going to be launching out, as Sam mentioned a quiz. We also have a global payroll fun fact quiz to test your knowledge about different countries around the globe and see if you know that information. And then, as mentioned, Neeyamo will be joining us on the 2nd of May for the Twitter chat. And so we've really designed a week around education. Along with that, we have created Global Payroll Week digital badges to download from our website and share that you are a proud global payroll professional that you can add to your email and share with other payroll professionals. So be sure to visit the website at gpminstitute.com for a complete list of Global Payroll Week activities. We have something planned for each day, and you'll definitely see us on social media.
Fantastic. I should just add as well that the Global Payroll Week is going to be occurring from the 29th of April to the 3rd of May. So obviously that's when all these activities are going to be taking place. Let's throw up a couple of questions I'm going to ask you in just a moment, Mary, just so I can get a little bit more information on some of those events. But just out of interest, why did you select the 29th of April to the 3rd of May to be Global Payroll Week?
Well, Sam and I, as Sam mentioned, both of us were kind of collaborating together when I was visiting Pune almost 3 years ago. And I had shown Sam the information that we had in the U.S. on National Payroll Week that's celebrated in September. And we both looked at each other and said, well, why don't we have a day? And immediately, Sam went out to see if there was already a day out there for either global or international payroll week. And we found that May 1st was International Workers' Day. And so then we decided to celebrate it around that week, which seems appropriate. Believe it or not, there's about 80 countries around the world that actually May 1st is a actual day off. It's a holiday for workers in countries around the world. And so it just seemed appropriate. Okay. Labor unions kind of rally into different subjects and topics during that week. So it was a combination. Sam was was immediately on his phone to figure out what we can do. And that's how we kind of picked that week and launched it out. It does seem very appropriate for us to use that week.
It does, and then fantastic proactive work there, Sam, getting straight in and finalising the date. So 29th of April to the 3rd of May, that's going to be Global Payroll Week. Now, some of the things you mentioned there, some exciting activities taking place. First, as you mentioned, you're going to have 3 speakers. I know you mentioned Nelson Hall, which is a fantastic research business that are involved in that. Are you able, and if you're not that spared, are you able to let us know who some of those speakers might be?
Sure. So the Navigating Cross-Cultural Challenges is from Kira Rubiano, and she is a subject matter expert in that. And she works for Axon, and so she is actually going to present there. And then actually we are doing a survey right now that we have launched out. It's Getting the World Paid survey for 2019. And on Friday, we're going to do the reveal of the results. And our good friend, Max van der Klis-Busink from the Netherlands, as you're familiar with, Nick, and Robert Gerbin, who is from CPP, who is from Atlanta, Georgia, and myself, we'll be going over those survey results on Friday to share with everyone what's actually happening on those the information that we got from the survey. So we're really excited to have that group to review the results. We're going to do the reveal. We got some good webinars coming up, so we're very, very excited to have the team there. The one thing that I will remind our listeners is that we do need you to register. So it's just a matter of going out to our website.
Fantastic. Brilliant.
Einstein famously said that insanity was doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We believe it's time to try a new approach to recruitment. JGA Recruitment specialise in recruiting the top 15% of payroll and HR talent using innovative 24/7 attraction strategies that are proven to improve quality of hire, candidate retention and return on investment. De-risk your recruitment process today and hire better talent faster with JGA Recruitment. Visit jgarecruitment.com to find out more.
Now, you also mentioned, as Sam did, he's doing a global quiz to his internal staff. Of course, that's 1,500 professionals across 150 countries. But you also mentioned you're looking to do a global payroll quiz. So what I'm keen to know is this going to be a live quiz where all the countries can kind of log in and answer at the same time under timed conditions? Or is this something they can take away, complete and submit in their own time to sort of self-assessment?
Nick, our quiz is going to be launched through social media. So we'll be launching that out a few questions each day for people to take and answer. And some of the questions, we've been working on them probably for the last few months. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge. And it also is awareness about what different items are happening in different countries. And that's probably similar to what Sam's doing with his team. And another thing I probably would like to share is I know that Neeyamo also provides education on to their employees during that week. So they're highlighting that week for people to ask questions about different countries. So they're continuing the education theme around that week during Global Payroll Week, which is excellent. And as you know, Nick, I always like to see people getting education and continuing to learn and keeping themselves current.
Yeah.
So last year, just to build up on what Mary just shared, Nick, what we did was we kind of identified 5 continents that we wanted to dwell intensely on each of these 5 days. So we had complete knowledge sharing, series of activities planned, themed around each of this continent, each single day, those 5 days, 5 continents. So it was pretty effective, interesting.
Sure.
Employees get to kind of dive really deep. And we get an opportunity to engage with stakeholders, spread across those respective continents as well.
Amazing. Fantastic. So let me ask you then, from an individual basis, how will you both be celebrating Global Payroll Week? Perhaps if I start with you, Sam, how will you personally be celebrating Global Payroll Week?
Well, I will, it's not easy to be heading a function that, is also responsible for coordinating a lot of these activities. So I'm sure it's going to be a busy time for multiple reasons, of course. But really excited in terms of what the team has been, planning. And we'll be seeing a lot of festive spirit across the organization. Now, unfortunately, I'm, based out of our headquarters, where we have a limited number of employees. But if we were to, if I had a choice, if I had an option, I would be across both our, all our global delivery centers, where I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more action, wherever our payroll professionals are based out of. I'm sure, there'll be a lot of things happening during those 5 days.
Fantastic. It's going to be a very busy time. How about yourself, May? What are you going to be focusing, and how are you going to be celebrating your personal time?
So the entire GPMI team is focusing the week around education. So we're going to be centering around preparing and making sure the webinars are there available, making sure we have social media posts to keep people informed of what's happening, and then encourage people to be subscribers. We also have an exclusive white paper that we're going to be releasing during Global Payroll Week. So we're centering it around education and a time to celebrate for what you do for your profession, and then encouraging people around the world to communicate that out to their employers and to other professionals so that everyone feels very good about what they're doing, because you are key leaders in the organization, and we just need to get the word out. As we talked about many times, Nick, is just making sure people are aware of all the challenges global payroll and payroll professionals have around the world.
Absolutely. All about raising the profile. And I think I mentioned before, and I'll say it again, that the GPMI is an institute which we promote all the time as recruiters. We send it to the links to all of our candidates we have at interviews because it's a great resource for people to access. It's completely free to see the latest publications about all things global payroll. There's always something of interest to be reading in there. So if you're not familiar with it yet, you definitely need to go and have a look at gpminstitute.com and find out more. So this year's festivities, I think Sam mentioned it earlier, it's going to be the second celebration of Global Payroll Week. So what do you want to see the celebration look like if we advanced it 5 years from now? How do you envisage the Global Payroll Week looking in the future? Sam?
Well, 5 years is a long time. In 5 years, I would think anybody and everybody interested in global payroll should be looking forward to Global Payroll Week. Now, we've heard a lot about National Payroll Week and how highly popular it is in USA and in UK. We'd like to see Global Payroll Week to be a global phenomena that brings together all stakeholders in the global payroll ecosystem, which is kind of increasing every single day. Practicing professionals, solution and service providers, and consultant and advisors all together in this single platform.
Great. And obviously a lot of businesses that aren't global now are very likely to be part of a global payroll operation in the future as more and more businesses go global anyway. So it's going to be an increasing subscriber list, we hope. How about yourself, Mary? How would you like to see it change or develop over the next 5 years?
So GPMI, we'd like to concentrate on three areas or ideas: the celebration, the education, and the outreach. So we'd like to bring more people in the workplace into the celebration, as Sam mentioned, because more and more people are entering the global space. We'd like to increase our GPMI chapters and have them celebrate Global Payroll Week, possibly with contest. We'd also like to set up mentor programs to help others improve their skills and also be able to expand in the industry. And we'd like to provide education to students to know about the role of global payroll and what really is involved and what global payroll actually does, either from the technology side to the actual processing to the actual movement of compliance. So all of those areas we'd like to let people know what's happening. We want to continue to raise the profile of global payroll professionals, and we want to expand awareness of payroll through the media and social media. So do some more outreach and social media, which we seem to, that is the area where we can reach out and network with other professionals, connect people from around the world, and they can share their information, but they can also connect and develop professional friendships and relationships. And then we want to make sure that we continue to increase our networking, because it's important for payroll professionals to network. And then through that networking, they're sharing their knowledge. And we're also learning from all of the different providers around the world and what's going on today as we move forward in this exciting era.
Fantastic. So I'm going to give a little challenge then to you both while we're here recording this podcast. I'm going to set you off. If you had 3 words to describe Global Payroll Week, I'm going to ask you what they would be. I think for me, from listening to the two of you, the 3 that would come to mind would be celebration, education, and engagement. They'd be my 3 words. If I asked you guys to sum the Global Payroll Week up in 3 words for yourselves, what would they be? Let's start with yourself, Mary.
Well, I kind of have similar words that you gave, Nick. I would do celebration, education, and outreach. So it's really celebrating the global payroll professionals' role in the organization. And then we want to continue to educate, as we talked about, and provide webinars, white papers, and other resources so that we're actually sharing the message and raising the bar for payroll professionals.
Fantastic. How about yourself, Sam?
Yeah, it may sound lame, but I'd say Global Payroll and Week. Global, as we want this to be a truly and one of its kind global celebration, it should ideally pan across continents and cultures. Global payroll means so much to so many people. Payroll, as we'd like this to be all things payroll, from technology to treasury to compliance and processing. There's so much payroll that's in global payroll. It will have to be about payroll professionals, and it would be all about employees that receive their paycheck. So that's a large ecosystem of professionals and customers, payroll beneficiaries. And week as we want this to be on full throttle all 5 days of the week.
Sure.
So
Fantastic.
yeah, global payroll and week.
Perfect. Yeah. You're both going to be extremely busy.
Did you know that a song had been created specifically for payroll professionals called My Payroll Career? If you haven't heard it yet, go to iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, or even YouTube and check it out now. Here's a little snippet to get you started.
I love payroll, and payroll loves me. I don't mind liaising with HMRC. I love manual payments and calculating S&P. Yeah, payroll is the career for me.
So, what do you ultimately then hope payroll professionals participating in Global Payroll Week, whether through participating at GPMI's official events or perhaps through their own workplace celebrations, what do you hope they'll be able to take away from the event?
I would like payroll professionals to be honored and proud of the contributions they make to employees. They're making sure employees are paid accurately and timely, while ensuring compliance and reporting is done across the globe. So that's a big challenge. And recognize that Global Payroll plays a key role in your organization. And Global Payroll Week is a week to share your contributions in your company and celebrate all that you do each and every day. It's also a time to continue to expand your global payroll education by attending webinars or visiting the GPMI website and sharing with global payroll professionals around the world. Making sure that you continue to visit GPMI for the updated information and look at the Global Magazine each month and attend a webinar to continue to expand your global knowledge.
Fantastic. Well, I think you heard it here first. It sounds to me like if there's 3 words people need to take away, it's to go to the gpminstitute.com website, and the first word will be subscribe or download and get involved, and then engage when the week happens, which is 23rd of April to the 3rd of May 2019. And then learn, by the sounds of things. There's going to be some amazing industry speakers, loads going on over the 5 days. I know that both Mary and Sam are going to be extremely busy trying to help you all to celebrate what is a fantastic profession to help raise the profile of the global payroll industry. So I hope as many people listening to this can get involved and engage and learn and get the most out of Global Payroll Week, because it sounds to me like this is only going to get bigger. It's going to be celebrated in some style, and it's about time we did it on a global platform. So thank you ever so much to both Samuel Isaac joining me today from Neeyamo and Mary Holland from GPMI for telling us all about Global Payroll Week. Is there anything either of you would like to add that perhaps we've missed just to sign off?
I would just say be sure to visit the website to get the most updated calendar and mark your calendar for April 29th through the 3rd of May. And stay tuned to see Sam and his team on the Twitter chat that will be done on the 2nd of May. And be sure to sign up for the webinars so that you get the updated information. And if for some reason you're unable to attend the webinars during that week, I do want to just highlight that they will be available on demand. So we're making sure that you have education opportunities, and if for some reason you can't attend, we want to make sure that you have that opportunity.
Fantastic. And of course, you can only get that opportunity if you sign up and subscribe. It's all completely free. So these are free resources for people working in global payroll to really learn, educate, and get ahead of the curve. So if you can't attend the webinar, as Mary mentions, you can still sign up. You can still then get them later on. But if you haven't signed up, you're not going to get the content. So definitely go and visit that. And I will make sure that all of those links, both to Neeyamo and to the GPMI, are available in the episode notes. So please do take a look at those, and that'll give you a really quick route through to all the links that you need. I think that just about sums up the podcast for today. Just a quick special edition to celebrate Global Payroll as a prelim to Global Payroll Week on the 29th of April to the 3rd of May. So thank you ever so much, Sam, for joining me, and thank you ever so much, Mary. This is Nick Day. I'm from the Payroll Podcast, and I will speak to you all again in a couple of weeks.
You've been listening to the Payroll Podcast with Nick Day of JGA Recruitment, specialist payroll recruiters. If you would like to feature on a future podcast, please contact us. For a wealth of world-class payroll content, please visit us at jgarecruitment.com. See you next week.